Mr. Yu, please make yourself comfortable and we'll be on our way. TranStar facility is just a short hop. 78 degrees, clear skies all the way.
So Prey's new demo just released this past Thursday for the PS4 and Xbox One only. No word on a PC demo, probably because they know PC players will go into the game's files and probably, you know, look at spoilers and stuff. I guarantee it's almost that, because there's actually been a lot of times where betas and demos have been on PC and parts of the game have been spoiled because some of the game's content and story information or whatnot is hidden within the game's file system on that. So because of the few who, you know, like to search high and low for certain items and then go ahead and reveal it all on the internet for everyone to read, the whole PC community got shafted. But, you know, this is why I own multiple platforms, because I don't have to worry about, you know, what happens to the PC platform or the Xbox or the PS4 platform. I have options on where to go to. But regardless, my thoughts on Prey. Now, this is a game I've actually been very curious about. To say I'm excited would actually be, you know, it wouldn't be very accurate. This is a game that I wanted to feel excited for, but I just didn't know how to react. Now, I was an absolute huge fan of the original Prey, and absolutely was looking forward to, more so than ever, the sequel, the Prey 2 that was coming out. And I saw footage of Prey 2, then played the first Prey on Xbox 360, and actually really fell in love with the game. I just thought it was a very awesome game. It reminded me a lot of BioShock, but with a lot more of a horror twist. It's like BioShock and Doom mixed together, and it was a lot of fun. And I had a good time playing that game, you know, back on Xbox 360. I thought it was a very interesting game, and I liked the twist at the end, and it was just a really cool adventure. Now, Prey here is a reboot. It basically scraps everything about the first Prey, and basically, and I say this with great deep sadness, scraps everything about Prey 2, and it starts from a clean slate, more or less. Now, this is developed by Arcane Studios, the guys behind the Dishonored franchise, and there's a lot of similarities between this game, and in fact, you're probably looking at this game already, and it probably reminds you a lot of Dishonored. And really, just to put it in terms here, after playing the demo, Prey is basically the love child of Deus Ex, Dishonored, and BioShock, like all in one. It's as if those three games came together, like the developers of those three games, or just, it's like the graphical world, like the interesting world of BioShock, mixed with the sci-fi-esque and just variability of Deus Ex, and then combine like Dishonored sort of movement and stealth mechanics in here, and with the powers that you have. It's a very interesting game, and many times this game reminded me, and like, you look at the game now and you're like, you get a BioShock-esque from like the art direction, right? It's that old, you know, even though this game takes place in the future, it's sort of that old style mixed in. There's like a lot of wood and whatnot, and you look at the email list, and you see how the layout of all the computers and stuff is very similar to like Deus Ex, for instance, and it reminds you in that, you know, that respect. I think that Prey, you know, after playing it, I walked away. It's very hard to say, because I didn't walk away with like a positive feeling, but I also didn't walk away with like a negative feeling as well. I walked away feeling good about what I played, but I still have my doubts here. Like, I don't look at this game and just garnish like excitement from looking at it. It's a game that's a lot more interesting to play than it is to actually look at. And it's a bit odd. Like, this is a game, after playing the demo, this is a game that I absolutely have to get on PC, and I know that for sure. Like you're watching the PS4 Pro footage right now, right? This is the best possible version. I know the demo didn't have any PS4 Pro support from what I understand, but from what I gathered here, this is the best possible version of the demo that you could play is on the PlayStation 4 Pro. The game runs at 30 frames per second and at 1080p on PS4 with a 900p resolution on Xbox One. Pretty standard stuff, right? But from what I'm playing, I'm sorry, but this is one of those games that needs 60 frames per second. Like, especially because this is Arcane Studios' first, game that has more of an FPS focus than anything else. Dishonored had more of a stealth focus. This game is a lot of combat, and you can play it stealth if you want. You really can. But this game has more of a combat focus than Dishonored ever did. And because of that, you're given a lot of weapons and whatnot. And the game's just very odd to control. It's weird because I felt myself... I felt like the game pulling my sense of control back a little bit. I mean, you can tell that the game runs at 30 frames per second, and you can really feel that, but you can also feel that the developers put VSync in here because there is somewhat of an amount of input lag to deal with. The game doesn't feel very responsive at all. And that was like my biggest issue in terms of the control set of the game. As I was playing the game, and I was like, all right, the game looks good. I don't really like the frame rate. It's not as, like, 30 frames per second doesn't really work for this type of game for me, which is why I wanted to play it on PC. But it's just the fact that they have VSync engaged so they don't have any screen tearing, but at the same time that bumps the input lag up tremendously. And it's to the point where in this game I could really feel myself, like I can feel the game reacting differently to my sense of controls. It's like I was turning, but there was always a slight delay to my actions. And you'll see in firefights that I can't exactly get a pinpoint accurate shot on some of these enemies. This is a game that I have to actually use mouse and keyboard to play just because I need that sense of accuracy, especially with a game like this with its enemies basically moving all around you and basically be able to become different objects and items in the world. Like this is the type of game that essentially has a fear factor, with it. It's like scary, right? Or at least it tries to scare you. I like the fact that the enemies can become different objects in the world. I think that brings up the tension quite dramatically, in fact, because you'll just be exploring an environment. You're like, all right, no one's in here. Then next thing you know, a chair or a cup of coffee or just anything will turn into an enemy, and they start like just jumping at you and start attacking you, and it's like, well, fuck, man, like I didn't even realize anyone was in this room. And I like that tension. Now this is the demo, right? And it's funny because they say this is the opening hour of the game. You want to know what's funny? I spent almost 2 hours in my first run on this demo. I think I actually spent an hour and 50 minutes total on my first run with this demo. This demo is not like, if you rush through it, it's maybe an hour long. And I know a lot of people tend to play games without looking at environments. I'm more of a slow cinematic player. I like to play games by looking at the environments and really just engrossing myself in this world. And I like to play in a very cinematic perspective, a cinematic type of way. So you'll see I like slowly turn around corners, or maybe I look at certain objects and just pan the camera around. That's just the type of style that I play. And so I know I play slower than most people, but this is the type of game where you really have to look into your environment. It's sort of taken like Deus Ex. There are hidden routes everywhere, and there are different tactics and ways, and there is a stealth mechanic to this game. And if you want later on, you can actually sneak through the levels. But for me, I didn't find, like, it's a bit odd. Like I said, Prey has a more combat focused type of gameplay to it than Dishonored was with its stealth. Dishonored was all about stealth, and yes, you could do combat in Dishonored, but you could tell like the meat of what they wanted you to experience the game was from a stealth perspective. And Prey, it's like, I know I can play stealth, but this isn't the type of game where I feel like stealth is really the focus of what I'm supposed to do. In fact, you know, playing games like there's a few games like that that have both stealth and combat gameplay, but they just work better in combat, or they just work better in stealth. Like the Crysis series for me was always a more combat focused game rather than a stealth focused, you know, thing. And I think stealth can be used, you know, in this game to get around your enemies and to flank them from other ends, but eventually you're going to have to attack them. From what I understand, there's no instant takedown. It's not like Dishonored where you have an instant takedown thing and you can sneak up behind someone and do it. Like, these guys are like alien phantoms, so you don't really know what they're made of, and they come in various different sizes, so it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do, you know, to do this stealth? Is there a way to take them down, you know, individually or whatnot? It's a bit weird. So overall, after playing Prey's demo, and I was hoping after playing this demo, I was gonna get an idea of how I was gonna feel playing this game. Like, I was gonna get an idea of what it would be like to, you know, garnish an opinion, a full opinion on, all right, this is what to expect with Prey, and I'm excited for it, and you know, I'm looking forward to it. Or, okay, this is a game that's going to be a little bit hit or miss, I'm not really sure. But after playing it, I don't have an opinion. I felt just as curious, if not more curious, after playing the demo before I played the demo. Like, I don't feel like a draw to this game, and maybe it's because I'm still so depressed that Prey 2 was canceled and we're not getting that game. Because I'm sorry, Prey 2, when that shit was revealed, that looked like the most intense, amazing experience. Considering it was supposed to be on last-gen hardware, I was blown away by how amazing that game looked and just how incredible that game looked like to play, you know?
Target located. Tracking on. Target is clear.
Ciao back.
Semitka.
Made a mistake. You've got the wrong guy.
Target eliminated. Tracking off.
Regime eyes in the sky. Our ever-present, ever-watchful, ever-protected. Dramatic behavior and weapons play necessitate regime involvement.
Dragar. One fat target the regime wants alive. Big payout. Damn it. Location unknown. Time to leg it. That bastard Crux will know something.
Bitch, you're dead. will be brief. The location is yours for 2,000 credits. Your reputation precedes you. They said you were stupid. I'll give you the info, but you can expect me to call in a favor down the line. Now, lower your gun. Leave me. What the fuck you doing? Hola. Bottom-feeding bounty hunter scum? You are so fucking dead. This asshole says he's looking for you.
Kill that son of a bitch! No!
Hostiles detected ahead.
Let's make a deal, okay? Anything you want.
Target immobilized. Tracking off.
I heard some talk.
Hang wants a direct line. Looks a lot like Dragar, actually.
You gave my brother to the regime! And for what? For money? We had an agreement, son of a bitch! You're dead! Dead!
Killian, he's locked on you. Get out. Now.
And I built my first computer with that game in mind. You know, my first ever computer, the main focus of that machine was to be able to play a game like Prey 2 at 1080p maximum settings, or at least close to that, and get a smooth 60 frames per second. And then delay, and then the game gets canceled, of course. So, I don't know, man. I feel like Prey... There's nothing physically wrong with the game. In fact, there's a lot here that's interesting and different. And I like the fact that the enemies can change into different objects. And apparently, when you gain the powers and whatnot, you can actually morph into objects as well. But that's not in the demo yet. So I don't know. I really just don't know. I wish that for impressions I could say, here are my definitive thoughts. This is how I feel. But I'm so confused. I'm really confused after playing this. I don't know exactly what I feel, and I don't know if it's positive or negative, and I don't even know what to expect. I'm still confused, and I'm still just looking for a specific feeling or a specific opinion that I have on this game. Did I have fun playing what I played? Yeah. Was I super interested in playing what I was playing? I wasn't like as engrossed maybe as I would have expected to be coming from an Arcane game. Because again, like it really falls on the roots of other games that I played. It's like a mixture of all those games I mentioned in one, and those are all really good games. You know, Dishonored, great game. Deus Ex, amazing game. BioShock, one of the most iconic games of last generation, one of the best games last generation. You know, it has a mixture of all those elements, and so you would expect nothing but greatness here, but I don't know what to feel. At least coming from me, I don't know what to feel. What I can say is that I'll absolutely be playing the game, of course, because I play everything. And this is definitely a game that, for me, has to be a PC purchase. I can't in good faith play this on consoles with the control set the way it's set up. I don't feel like the shooting mechanics are as intuitive to play with a gamepad. You guys might have different opinions than I do, you know, but I was sitting back, I was playing this on a PS4 Pro, I'm very comfortable with the PlayStation controller, and I just didn't feel, you know, like the controls were that solid, at least from my perspective. Although I do expect, you know, the PC with the mouse and keyboard and the much higher frame rate to be a much better experience, especially for me, because a lot of times I was trying to hit these guys and shoot these guys, and they would move around really quick, but my frame rate was only 30 frames per second, and the controls, and I did try to adjust the sensitivity, but I mean, it was either too fast or it was too slow, and there was also some, you know, turning acceleration going on. So I guess that's the only gripe I really have with the game that I can like definitively tell you from my experience, is I just didn't like the shooting mechanics. I thought it was bland and just like I really felt like the shooting mechanics needed some work. But like I said, you know, you can play this stealth if you want to, and I suppose with mouse and keyboard it's going to get much better. But I really am interested in knowing what you guys think. I mean, you can download this demo if you haven't already. I mean, the great thing about demos is I feel like we rarely get them these days, and that when we get them, that we should support them, you know, because demos are awesome. There used to be a time where every single game got a demo, and you'd go on, you know, the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Live Marketplace, and you would download a demo for like the upcoming game, and it was awesome, you know, playing all those games that had demos back in the day. And then over time, you know, developers like to say demos are expensive and they don't like the risk of people, you know, not liking their game, you know. But hey, I like demos, and I feel like we should support demos, and you know, really show the developers that we appreciate them giving us a portion of their game to play. And despite, you know, me spending a lot of time in this, I did enjoy it, I have to say. If anything, I did like what I played. I just am unsure whether it's gonna really stick with me for the full experience. So this has been a very a very twisting, winding impressions. I'm sorry I don't have a concrete like opinion for you saying, oh, I really like the game and this is what's awesome about it and the story is really interesting. I mean, the story is interesting. Keep in like they showed like some of the interest stuff. And it's really cool. So, all right, I'll talk with you guys later. Thanks for watching.